I was 8 years old, my brother Elliot went missing. He was 13, old enough to feel invincible, young enough to still say goodbye like it meant something. The last thing he ever said to me was "later, Gator." Then he walked out the door and never came back. They searched for days, then weeks, then they stopped. No body, no evidence, nothing. Just gone. I didn't understand it back then. I stayed in my room, playing with Legos, waiting for a knock on the door that never came. The kind of knock that tells you everything is okay again. That kind of knock doesn't exist. But I kept looking. Even after everyone else gave up, I didn't. I'd take longer routes home from school, cutting through places he used to go. I carried a crumpled map in my pocket, marking every location he liked. I checked all of them, over and over, because people don't just disappear. That's not how the world is supposed to work. Eventually, there were no places left to check. No answers, just silence. I never got over that. I just learned how to function around it. I became obsessed with answers, with solving things, with never leaving anything unfinished. I joined search and rescue as soon as I was old enough. If I couldn't find Elliot, maybe I could find someone else. Maybe that would be enough. A couple of years ago, I joined a search that felt different from the start. A 17-year-old had gone missing while exploring an abandoned metro station on the outskirts of the city. The place had been shut down mid-construction years ago. Half-finished tunnels, dead ends, empty rooms. The kind of place where things could go wrong fast. We geared up like usual. Radios, flashlights, masks, supplies. But there was one difference. No GPS. The signal wouldn't work underground. Instead, they restored power to parts of the tunnels. Emergency lights lit up certain corridors, leaving others in complete darkness. We were told one thing very clearly. Stay in the lit areas. If you find darkness, call it in. Do not go in alone. I was assigned to a maintenance corridor with 3 others. Long, narrow, unfinished. No pipes, no clear purpose. Just concrete stretching in every direction. We moved slowly, calling out the missing boy's name, checking every room, every corner. Everything looked the same. Empty spaces that didn't make sense, like they were never meant to be used. Eventually, we reached a long hallway that split in 3 directions. We stayed within earshot, but spread out to cover more ground. I took the far right path. At the end of it, I found a heavy metal door. Solid, out of place. The light stopped right before it. Beyond it was complete darkness. I called it in. The operator told me to keep the door open and stay within sight of the light. I didn't. I stepped inside. The ceiling was low, the air heavy. My flashlight barely cut through the darkness. There was another corridor ahead, stretching further than the beam could reach. It felt wrong. Not just dark, but deep. Like it went somewhere it shouldn't. I only took a few steps before deciding to turn back. That's when the door slammed shut behind me. I grabbed the handle immediately. It didn't move. I called it in. The operator didn't sound concerned. Said it happens. Told me to stay put. Someone would come. I waited. 20 minutes, maybe more. Then my flashlight started flickering. That's when the operator's tone changed. They said they couldn't find the door I described. Said there was no door. Just an open frame. That's when I felt it. That quiet shift in your gut when something stops making sense. They told me to follow the right-hand wall. Said it would lead me to another team. So I did. When the flashlight died completely, I kept going in total darkness. Hand against the wall. One step at a time. No sound except my breathing. No sense of distance. No way to tell if I was even moving in the right direction. After a while, I started to feel something strange. The wall didn't feel like concrete anymore. It felt soft, textured, like wallpaper, like the walls of my childhood home. I even took my gloves off to be sure. That's how easily your brain breaks in the dark. I reached a split in the tunnel and called it in. The operator hesitated, said there shouldn't be a split, asked me about the ceiling. When I told him it was low, everything changed. His voice dropped. He said I wasn't where I thought I was. There were other sections like this. Unmapped, incomplete, He told me the only way out was through a narrow opening in the wall ahead, a crawl space, so it would lead me back. I didn't want to do it, but I didn't have a choice. I crawled in. It sloped downward, just enough that I couldn't go back. I had to keep moving. The space tightened around me, my gears scraping against the walls, my chest barely able to expand. Every breath felt borrowed. Then suddenly it opened. I fell out into another room. The operator sounded relieved, told me exactly where to go. Forward, left, then straight. Said he was right there. I followed his directions exactly. That's what happened. As I ran my hand along the wall, I felt something that wasn't concrete. It was a face. Cold skin, open eyes, teeth. I jerked back instantly. Asked if anyone was there. No response. When I reached out again, there was nothing. Just the wall. I told myself I imagined it. I had to. I kept going. At the end of the corridor, I reached for the door he told me about. There wasn't one. Just a wall. I started to panic, yelling into the radio, asking where the door was. Then I hit my head with the radio by accident. Something clicked. I opened the back. There were no batteries inside. Nothing. The radio had been dead the entire time. Every voice, every instruction, none of it was real. I don't remember how long I sat there. Minutes, hours, maybe longer. But eventually, I forced myself to move. I started mapping everything in my head, try to retrace my steps. I found a crawl space again, climbed inside. It sloped downward. Again, that's when I understood. There was no way back, no correct path, no exit, just corridors that changed, loops that didn't connect, spaces that shouldn't exist. And then I remembered something I hadn't thought about in years. Elliot loved exploring places like this. Abandoned buildings, hidden tunnels, places where you weren't supposed to go, places where people disappear. The last thing he said to me was later, Gator. I used to think that meant I'd see him again. Now I think he found this place first.